Tak for det. Guten dagen. And that's about it on my Icelandic. It's going to be in English. I'm not going to talk about cybersecurity, and I'm not going to talk about artificial intelligence. In fact, I'm not going to talk about any digital stuff at all. I'm going to talk about what we call emotional intelligence. So just to be on the same page when I start this small presentation, it is not about what goes on in the brain. It is what goes on in your stomach, in your heart, in the space between us. So it's the connection between people. So we're going to change the subject a little, okay? So maybe we start by just doing a little exercise. Why don't we just, I think we need to change the energy in the room a little. Maybe stand up, everybody, right? Just stand up and get a little energy into the body, yeah? Shake your arms a little, shake your feet a little, get a little energy in. Yeah. Maybe, be planted firmly on the ground. Take a deep breath. Yeah. Feel the oxygen kind of coming into your body. Do it 3 or 4 more times and just empty your head for every thought and just kind of follow your breath. While you're breathing, send a little love to the people around you. Look at the people around you. Give them a little love, even though you don't like them. That was an energy shift. Now you can sit down again. Now you're ready for the next 20 minutes, and in 21 minutes you'll be standing out there with a glass of wine in your hand, cold wine, cold beer, or a soft drink if that's what you're up for. I'm going to talk about collaboration, but as I said, I'm really going to talk about emotional intelligence, because everything that goes on between us as human beings is not about the content, it's about the contact and response that we do, right? So it's how we actually interact with each other. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. And then some of you are probably going to say, what's that headline? Quantum physicist. What the F is this Dane talking about? So I'm going to introduce you to a guy that's called Henning. Henning is a Danish guy. He's a DTU. He's a quantum physicist. So he's one of the smartest guys on the planet up here. And very early in his career, Henning discovered that it's not enough to be smart up here, because if I can't interact with people, I'm actually no good. I'm not worth anything in my company. It's just not going anywhere, right? And it ends up being a conflict every time I interact with other people. I come in with my ego and I want to win. I want to show my power. I want to show how clever I am. And I push people away. So that's not working for me. So very early in Henning's career, he discovered that he needed to develop some emotional intelligence. So he needed to be able, I found this guy online, he says, yeah. So he needed actually to be able to communicate with other people. So Henning started investigating and researching, what is that about? And a few years ago, he actually discovered what goes on in the air between us. So right now, between you and me, what goes on? And what goes on is that atoms are actually traveling between us. We are atoms. Humans are atoms. We are built by atoms. Everything is built by atoms. So the space between us is also built by atoms. And what Henning discovered was that there's actually something going on. You know, when you go into a room and the atmosphere is really heavy, and you know that people have been fighting, and then you go into the other room and the atmosphere is really light, you can sense it immediately, right? Now we are able to also, from a scientific point of view, measure it. So Henning, he actually discovered how to measure the atoms that travel between us. And he also discovered that some of these have a constructive difference, meaning positive energy. So meaning that we are actually attracted to each other. And in this context, it's okay for us to be attracted to each other. He also discovered, love between men, right? He also discovered that there was another type of atom that was traveling between us. This was the destructive difference. So this is where we're actually pushing each other away. We're actually not communicating. We're not listening. We're not doing anything to strengthen our relationship. So this is what goes on when we have destructive difference. So why is this important in collaboration, right? So I'm going to ask you a question, and I know in Iceland it can be a little difficult to get a verbal answer, so I'm just going to ask you to raise your hand so it's not dangerous, okay? So how many in here thinks that decisions made by the brain are based on the most data? How many in here thinks that decision made by the heart is based on the most data? Yeah. I didn't see one hand on the brain, so I guess heart wins, and that's correct. The decision we make with our gut feeling is based on, the same difference of data that could be on an old floppy disk and then on a terabyte, right? That's the difference of amount of data that our gut feeling actually uses. How many of you have made a decision where it feels good and you know it's right? Yeah? Everybody, right? How many of you have made a decision up here and you know it sucks? Yeah, all of us, right? And those of you who didn't raise your hands, you lie. Right? So why is this important? It's important because 99% of the time we walk into a problem, we try to fix it with our brain. And 99% of the time, that's actually not the solution. We might get, some results, limited results, sometimes. But we're not going to get any breakthroughs using this method. So when we walk into, quality issues with our IT supplier, when sensor is not doing what we like them to do, stress, uptime, bugs, and so forth, we immediately go to the brain and we look at the contracts and we, send invoices with penalties, and Isavia is going to say, no, this is not good enough, right? And we're not fixing anything. We might fix this one problem, but I guarantee you, it's going to come back. It's going to repeat because we are actually not fixed the relationship. So there's something going on here that we are not aware of. And by the way, this is not only in collaboration. This is also with your husband or wife, with your spouse. This is also with your children. This is also with your boss. It is with your employees. It is with your peers. So it's in every relationship in life this can be used. And a lot of the time, our conversation goes on in the what. So why doesn't it work? What's the problem with the process? Let's do a new organization. Let's fire this guy and get a new guy in, right? And that's not where the problem is. The problem is in how we actually are conversing with each other. So we spend a lot of time up here actually talking about the content. And if that doesn't work, then we go down here, right? We become aggressive. We talk about penalties, we talk about, lawyers, we put them on the scene. We are suspicious about our suppliers. We don't trust them. We're not creating any trust. So it becomes an aggressive kind of conversation, which doesn't solve anything. What we really need to do is to make that state shift and go into the constructive dialogue. Now, to be able to do that, we actually need to grow as human beings, and we need to grow our emotional intelligence. Because otherwise, when we are in this situation, and Bjarni is acting out, I'm going to go and attack him and win over him, right? So I need to be able to make this state shift and say, Bjarni, so what are you talking about? It's really interesting because I have a different view. Let's explore, right? So if we are able to do that, we need to develop our emotional capabilities. Now, emotional capabilities is not something we can read about in a book. That would be the same as saying, yeah, Messi became the world's best football player by reading a book. He didn't, right? He became the world's best football player by practicing. And the only way we can build emotional intelligence is by practice. And practice, it actually demands that we are vulnerable, because we need to step out into a space that we're not used to, right? Think about your leadership. How often do we not contract back to our specialty? Yeah, but I'm a supply chain guy, so I know better, right? This is not about supply chain. It's about relationships. It's about collaboration. It's about actually listening. God gave us 2 years, because we could listen more and speak less, right? So what happens here? There are actually 2 ways that often come out when we are in a collaboration and we kind of sense a conflict or a tension. The 2 most normal ways of actually solving that is either go into the aggressive defensive kind of mode, mindset and behavior. What happens there is we experience pain. You know, sometimes it can be extremely painful. We go home, we don't sleep, we get stressed and all that. That's what happens. We don't get stressed because we have a lot to do. We get stressed because we end up in these situations. The other way we can do is we can use the passive defensive. That's maintaining. That's not rocking the boat. Let's just, yeah, I agree. But nothing happens because we just agree by saying agreeing, and then we go home and then we do exactly what we want to do, right? The third one is the constructive developing one. That's actually seeking clarification. I'm actually interested in you as a human being. I'm interested in your view and I want to explore it. So tell me more. Why is it that your view is 180 degrees from mine? Where does that come from? This is how we solve problems, and this is how we create win-win-win situations, not win-lose situations, right? So a lot of the times we go from our problem into our business area. So what we really need to do, we need to nurture our roots. And nurturing our roots is going a little longer way over into actually understanding our mindset, understanding how can I increase my self-awareness? How am I impacting other people when I come out and I'm aggressive? Maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should be a little more interested, right? So we go over here, we create psychological safety, we create trust between people, and it's not the trust that when I make a deal with Valgidur to be here at 2 o'clock and for a meeting, then she's here at 2:10. Yeah, I noticed. You are always 10 minutes late up here. Why is that? Always. No. It's the kind of vulnerability that when I'm hurting, or there's something I don't know about, or I'm out on a limb and I'm really stressed, that I can ask for help. That's the kind of vulnerability that we want to build. That builds trust. And then we can actually go to the core of the problem, which is our culture. We want to create a constructive culture because that is where we can actually be who we are, say what we think without being punished. And we can explore together. We also call it a learning organization, right? And I will tell you that a learning organization every day of the week will win over a dismantling organization, right? So why is it that we spend 90% of our time in the aggressive and in defensive space, both in collaboration as leaders and actually also when we're at home with our spouse? So learning this is an important task that we have forgotten. We have actually unlearned it in the Western world. So that is what we are doing in Conscious Consulting. We are helping people to develop the capabilities within their emotional capabilities. What we see is that staff turnover decreases with 20 to 30%. Rework. How many of you have done the same work twice this week? None of you? There's only 3 people here that don't lie. Thank you. We all do rework every day, right? But that actually decreases with 25 to also 30%. And the time we waste actually also decreases. I know that there's a person sitting here in this room that when I met him 6 months ago, his calendar was full every day. He didn't have any second to do anything else but sitting at the computer. After a couple of talks and 6 months later, I know that his calendar today is almost half empty and he can actually lead his department. That's a shift of a mindset. That's an emotional intelligent growth, right? So there's really no reason not to start doing this. This is a competitive advantage. It's the only competitive advantage in the world that you cannot buy. You can only practice it. And before the sooner you start, the sooner you will have a competitive advantage. If you're interested, give me a call. Otherwise, thank you for listening. It's beer time, wine time, unless there are any questions. And I'm used to up here that there are no questions because nobody. I bet you there are at least 10 people out here sitting with. I really want to ask him this question, but I don't want to do it. You're welcome to approach me outside and with questions. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for today.